I suppose we can say he's in a bit of a mini drought, but that could come to an end over the next few hours. He'd love to have that impetus going into the Premier League playoffs.
44.
Yeah, there you see the reaction from Humphreys. We discussed it yesterday about Smith's potential for missing the World Match Play as well. Just the other side of that treble 19.
Yeah.
So 78 scored there.
138. Luca require 96.
But what about that for a recovery shot from Michael Smith, though? Double 18 here for Humphreys for 2-0.
So well thrown that last dart. That little sound before it hits the board, just kissing the barrel on its way through. 2-0. And the break is found by Humphreys.
Michael Smith there has had a very sluggish visit. I don't quite know what the problem was there with Smith. He looks as though he may have been just...
96.
I can tell you that Humphreys is very particular. If he misses a shot by the tiniest of margins, if you were to ask him live, he'd know why.
Yeah, Michael Smith has gone a bit wayward on occasion, and he can't put his finger on it. Double 16 though for Humphreys, and this is looking pretty ominous already. It's a 108 checkout, and look at the gulf there, Paul, between the first 9 averages.
Yep, this is the gulf of Rosmalen.
134.
It's getting wider. Oh, that's catching on.
Darting bingo. Final day of action here on the European Tour in Rosmalen.
140. 129.
6 darts for Humphreys from here as well, and the way he's finishing.
97.
He looks all set for a 5-0 lead.
He's at ease right now, averaging 100. His doubles are good. He's had a couple of maxes.
98.
And Smith just isn't playing the same level of stuff. And that double 16 is at his mercy.
I mean, for a third successive leg, he's taken out double 16. First time of asking, first dart in hand.
He would like to go one step further, and he's so close to being in the quarters.
140.
Yeah, could be the perfect build-up for him for the O2 on Thursday. 164 ain't going to happen for Michael Smith, and Luke Humphreys can return.
59.
And I suspect he may well go 9 double 16 for a 6-0 whitewash in our opening match of the day. Inch perfect so far on 16s, and absolutely inch perfect once again. An absolute masterclass of finishing on double 16 from Luke Humphreys. 4 out of 4 in the closing stages of that one. My goodness me, that was impressive. 6 out of 9 on the doubles overall, an average of 104.86 for good measure as well. Michael Smith, in all honesty, was blown away in that one.
Well, don't think it can't happen. Just look at the Czech Republic last year, the final Euro Tour event, when Kim Ibrex was in off the reserve list, went all the way to the final. He had to have a little bit of fortune along the way.
Just a smidge.
Yeah, quite a lot, actually.
81.
A sign of real frustration for O'Connor, but look at the score sheet. Might make you feel a little bit better, Will.
57.
This game is being played from the mid-80s level to the high 80s level. And 17 darts per leg. That's the best that Ed House can do in this leg.
57. Richie require 90.
Hasn't been able to hit a double yet. How is he on the ball?
65.
It's one of his better darts at double, but it still doesn't find the target.
Tops. O'Connor is shaking his head, but he's in full control of this one right now.
In the days of the UK Open qualifiers, if you remember them.
We do remember them.
Yeah, pretty even between the pair, by the way. 6-4 in Ed House's favour.
And their records in the last 16s of European Tour events aren't that different.
90.
Well, what do you do here? 18s. Might get rid of it in 12.
66.
That was very safe, wasn't it?
I mean, he's looking pretty safe in general here. Although it was against Kim Huybrechts,
100.
where
William
Edhouse got a let off because
24.
Huybrechts got stuck on double 3. Now there's a chance that could happen here. But it doesn't. Straight into double 12. That's a 13 darter. It's 4-0 Willie O'Connor. And this game looks like he's only going one way, because that is the first leg of this match that Edhouse has not had darts to win, and he wasn't even close. If he is going to win this, you'd think he's going to have to survive match darts, so there's a very real chance of it. But this has been a weekend
57.
where I cannot remember a tournament where such a high proportion of games have seen players surviving match darts and going through. 5 of the 16 today have had to do it. It's happened to Humphreys, it's happened to Michael Smith, happened twice to Edhouse. Nyman and Gurney have both done it. Edhouse having a look at the 130. Double 5 for a 12 darter.
125. William, you're 130.
So much emotional investment from the audience. What do they think of this? Oh, he was wishing for a first tops, so he can aggressively go for the second one. Confident single. Confident 5. Halves the deficit, and the comeback is very much on.
Oh, now this might be turning back in the favour of O'Connor. He was strolling to victory at 4-0 up. Richie Edhouse ignited and started hitting his doubles, but then it's kind of been about Richie Edhouse this game and whether he hits doubles. Start of the game, he was missing them, losing all the legs. Then he started hitting them, he was winning all the legs. He started missing again, it's allowed Willie O'Connor in, and he might be able to seal this in spectacular fashion.
He has been into the quarterfinals 3 times. The last 2 times he's been in the quarters, he's made the final match. This will be somewhere to make the quarterfinals.
He will not do it with a 9 darter, but he is still very likely to do it. He's managed to keep things together, Willie O'Connor, after a real assault from Edhouse. That's a brilliant setup shot from Edhouse, but it's match darts for Willie O'Connor. Way off. But that one's where it needs to be. Sigh of relief from Willie O'Connor, the man who shouldn't even have been here this weekend. He's in the final session. The ones who, when they really click, can just blow people away. We have got Ross Smith right here. We've got Bergh in the other half of the draw. Smith has hit 3 180s in the last 2 legs here. Humphreys himself, obviously. Martin Schindler's not that far off those guys when he really gets going on the 180s. But it could be an absolute bonanza of maximums today.
And Ross Smith is just making incremental improvements here. 17 darter, 13 darter. Couldn't quite find the 12 darter. But just look at the gap there that he's opened up. What's the front 9 average here for Ross Smith at the moment? 119.08, plays 85.08.
Yeah, Johnny Clayton his first 3 darts are a 180 in this game. And since then, Ross Smith has just pulled out the big bat with 180 written on it and repeatedly hit him over the head with it. And he does work his way into that double 8. I know it's taken him 3 darts to hit that double in that visit, but they're 3 darts that have got incrementally better, just working his way in. It's quite a satisfying way.
Smith 161. And again, he's got 6 darts from here at least. Look at the snarl, though. Look at the grimace on Ross Smith's face after that first dart. Just another illustration of the high standards that he sets himself. If something goes slightly wrong, as it did there, he's not happy, and he demonstrates it.
But it does demonstrate again the one weakness I do think he has. Sometimes his board management. He didn't need to stay on that treble 20. He could have come down for the 19s and even then bring the bull in. But he does get to the double 18, which he likes. And that's a great marker for it. And that is 4-1 Ross Smith. It is 4 legs on the spin. Johnny Clayton has had 1 dart at bull in that 4 legs. That was in the 2nd leg of the match. He has not had a dart at double since. He'll go for it. He'll go for it. Oh, Johnny Clayton can't quite reel it in. But he leaves the 25, which we know he is excellent at taking out. And Ross Smith is in danger of being pegged back at 4-all, having been 4-1 up.
Yep, checked out on 25 in leg 6. That's a third missed dart at bullseye for Johnny Clayton, but it might not matter because we might be on the verge of a level game here, and that is exactly where we're heading. It's 3 legs on the spin for Johnny Clayton, who somehow has just dragged himself out of what was a perilous situation.
100 points behind. Still training. Ross Smith just desperately needs to just get a leg. Better. Right at the end. Is he starting to find the maximums again? It's 2 and 2 legs now for Ross Smith. It is the 180 hitting which can win in this game.
180.
Could be the 180 hitting that wins the game for Johnny Clayton as well. Priceless visit, but it might all be in vain because Ross Smith has somehow just pulled off a 13 darter, his second of the match, and I think that's just about right. A level game, into the decider we go. But he's down to a finish first. Ross Smith simply has to make amends here. It might all be too late, you know. Has he just left himself that bit too much to do? Well, it's a step in the right direction for a start-off. It might just keep him interested. Johnny Clayton looking at 136.
Ooh. Oh, important last dart. The master of just doing just enough in this game, Johnny Clayton.
Well, it's left himself a Shanghai. Could have done with getting down to below a ton in some fashion or another, but Johnny Clayton to wrap up what will be an astonishing success. He's back upstairs for tops. Took it out before when he took out the 1-1-1, and he takes it out again in the decider as well. And Johnny Clayton somehow not involved at all in that match until about leg 6 or so, and suddenly Ross Smith just tailed off. But as he did so, Johnny Clayton just about found enough, and somewhat astonishingly, Johnny Clayton, beaten finalist here 12 months ago, is on course maybe for another deep run this weekend. Ross Smith, my fancy this weekend for glory on the European Tour, falls at the 3rd round stage as he did in 2018. It's Johnny Clayton who wins it by 6 legs to 5.
And Danny won the UK Open. He beat Damon in the quarters en route.
168.
Well, that's a nice burst from Damon. Great use of the treble 18.
Damon 134.
That's such an unused shot. It's such an Aussie thing to do. They love to use the 17s and 19s twice to leave a double of their choosing on things like 134, 138.
41. Damon 40.
It's not unnoticed, Damon, what you just did. And we do notice that as well. That's a 13 darter, 6 darts better than the first leg of the contest won by Danny.
Winner of this one to face Johnny Clayton in the quarterfinals later on tonight. After this, we'll move on to the second half, or the bottom half of the draw, starting off with Mickey Mansell against Ryan Searle. The old Dutch clash between Dirk van Dijvenbode and Wessel Nyman. Nico Springer and Martin Schindler guaranteeing German representation in the lineup tonight.
139.
And there may be more as well, with Ricardo Petresco up against Daryl Gurney in our final match of the afternoon. Not on a finish here on 165. Heta lurking, I would venture, on 204.
50.
That was a decent visit until dart 3. Still over 100 and susceptible to being broken.
86.
But dart 3 is not what Damon wanted there. Are we going to get a second consecutive ton plus finish? You got it!
On the 5th leg, Danny Noppert, 6 leg statement.
105 for Heta, 115 for Noppert, 3-2, on we go. Hole to throw, the order of the day so far.
Purely because these ever-present players on the European Tour this season haven't yielded a great deal of quarterfinals. Danny hasn't been to one yet, and Damo's only been to one, and this is event 7. So they really need this to kickstart their season in the right direction. And this is a huge exchange right here.
Well, what a setup that was by Heta, by the way, to get into this position. Took out the 68 in the 8th leg yesterday. Can he take out the 64 in this one? He's looking at double 10 once again for a 5-3 lead. And the similarities between today and yesterday are just proving to be very stark indeed. And Damon Heta, it's almost like a mirror image of the match yesterday. He leads 5-3 and Noppert all of a sudden really starting to chase this game.
You want to be a pro, you want to be like these guys. Focused, hard-working. And they're very good at uncovering what's under a rock. New ideas, ways to improve. And we might be going to 6-5.
Once again.
60.
Has been one of the recurring themes this weekend, the number of players who've survived match darts to still be standing on the final day of action.
But Danny's doing a really good job right now of getting the volume in the Autotron up, maybe in preparation for that last leg shootout.
Daniel 14.
I suspect the whistles may get louder and louder if we go into a deciding leg. And that is exactly where we are heading. But what a 4-dart salvo that was from Danny Noppert. He was on 165, 125 and tops in 4 darts. So neither has had the opportunity to stretch into any sort of comfort zone, ease off into the distance and started to play catch-up. They've just been well matched pretty much from the word go in this one. There's a slight gap in the averages overall, but this is bubbling up now to be a nice crescendo in our 4th match of the day.
It may just be the narrative that Danny Noppert always makes the quarterfinals in this tournament. He's looking for 4 in a row into the final session, and he's playing supremely in this last leg shootout.
Look at that, bookending that treble 20 bed and finding the treble 7 for good measure as well. Parallels with the previous leg, took out the 125 to leave tops, and he's left tops once again.
98. Daniel 14.
So, to complete the comeback for a 3rd successive leg on the spin for Danny Noppert, the number 12 seed, double 10. He gets the better of Damon Heta, and Danny Noppert will ensure there is 2 players from the Netherlands in the quarterfinals this evening. We're guaranteed one later on. Noppert has ensured we've got 2. He comes through an absolute cracker against Damon Heta, who will no doubt reflect on what might have been. He looked to have that one there for the taking when he led 5-3, but Danny Noppert clearly had other ideas. Heta heads home, but Danny Noppert marches into the quarterfinals. He wins it 6-5.
Yeah, somebody get Ryan Searle a shampoo commercial. That is something I want to see. Like Troy Polamalu for the Pittsburgh Steelers, who used to have a famous brand of shampoo, and he'd do the old hair flick after he takes his helmet off.
60.
Nicely explained there, Paul, because I had no idea what you were talking about.
$114.
Yeah, Mickey hasn't really shown up yet. He's not careful. He's going to have to do what Johnny Clayton did against Ross Smith.
60.
Well, he obviously didn't have to play yesterday because Michael Van Gogh withdrew, so he got a bye through. But he's already beaten a major champion in Mike Decker on Friday. His double 7 is pinned for a 2-0 lead for heavy metal. It could be a first quarter-final on the Euro Tour of the year for Ryan Searle, and his first quarter-final since all those missed championship darts in
26.
Switzerland last year.
Has made the quarterfinals of this tournament around about 12 months ago. Lost to Johnny Clayton in the quarters, who would eventually lose to Josh Rock in the final.
81.
He's got himself to a 2-darter there. He's not cutting the figure of a really happy dart player at this point in time. This is where you go bull.
130.
Well found.
Ryan 100.
could look very easy, this. He has made that look very easy, Ryan Searle. 4-0, and this game is looking pretty easy for him, truth be told.
But what we can see from the dartboard, it does work really well because they're going in with such,
22.
I was going to say precision, but that visitors just let him down.
22 scored to leave a bogey number, but Mickey Mantle needs 3 perfect darts to get to any kind of finish. He's not going to get that. It has not been a day to remember for Mickey Mantle. Ultimately, he hasn't won a leg
45.
since Friday because he didn't play yesterday and he's not won a leg today. Lovely setup, and it's the lesser spotted double 16 for Ryan Searle to complete a comprehensive victory. And be the first man through to the quarterfinals in this half of the draw. The first man through to the quarterfinals who won't be a World Cup captain this year. Humphreys, O'Connor, Clayton and Naert. And now Ryan Searle, Mickey Mantle dismissed from the Dutch Darts Championship. Ryan Searle into the quarterfinals on the Euro Tour for the first time this year and the first time since his heartbreaking final defeat in Basel, Switzerland. He shakes his head, he's not happy with it, he'll be happy with the result. There's room for improvement and he's going to need some if he's going to win his maiden Euro Tour title tonight.
Teemu Hayu as well in his opening match, 121, the front 9 average in that one as well. So if he can marry that scoring with the finishing of yesterday, who knows where it might take him.
Yeah, we've seen him a number of times this year where he's been absolutely brilliant and he's done all these things. He's produced this sledgehammer scoring,
58.
He's had this deadly and often creative use of the board and finishing. And then he does bring them together and have a massive performance, and then all of a sudden they're both going missing. He has a poor game, goes out of the tournament, which is why he hasn't won a title for a while. But the Uber Genius is a genius on the dartboard. You are correct, my man. That's why they call him that. I mean, genius he may be, but I think he might have stabbed himself with one of his own darts. So, and he's dropped that one.
Yeah,
there's always something with Bergh, isn't there?
Has he drawn blood?
94.
Might be Nyman who draws first blood in this match, looking at 32 for a 13-darter.
Games on the first leg.
Yeah, I think he's he might be in need of a band-aid here, Van Dijvenbode.
Where are they? Has something spooked them? What?
180.
Only their self-importance, Dan.
I don't know. What's the natural predator of a Smurf? Is there one loose?
I was going to say Father Abraham, but
93.
I don't have enough Smurf knowledge.
not quite sure you put him in predator categories. We move on.
165.
What a leg of darts this is from Wessel Nyman.
The Smurfs are missing a treat. They'd be best advised just to sit down for 10 minutes and do this a little bit later on. Because Wessel Nyman has approached
96.
double 8 after 9 darts
16.
for a 2-1 lead. He started off with a 13-darter. This could be a 10-darter. 11 or 12 will do. And that is exactly what he's got.
Right, if Wessel Nyman continues to play like this with the throw, Dirk van Dijvenbode is going to have to do something extraordinary to win this game.
70.
Well, he won't need to be overly aggressive if he does find 2 treble 20s here, Van Dijvenbode, but we'll see how far it goes.
59.
Not as far as he would have liked. Interesting to hear from Nyman last night in his post-match interview after that win against Peter Wright about how he found it unusual that he heard the fans calling his name for the first time. I'm surprised it was the first time, albeit on home soil, of course, but he clearly appreciated it.
He's getting some loose starts he's not really had this week, or not many of them, Dirk. A little bit concerning. Wessel Nyman's the better player here. Is he good enough for this? Is he good enough for the 1-4-3? He is, and it's a beauty. What a shot, Wessel Nyman. The job just became even harder for Dirk van Dijvenbode.
It might just take something spectacular like this for Van Dijvenbode just to give him some real,
57.
genuine belief moving forward. Nyman in danger, maybe just of dropping off the pace a little bit, but he too is looking at the big one.
Well, you could hear the crowd willing that one in. It's the loudest they've been in this game. Are they going to be as loud if Wessel threatens it? They might be.
97. Dirk 36.
Well, Van Dijvenbode has left himself a great chance for a break of throw. It's just nudged the wire. No matter how many inches you lean forward to peer at that one, that is slightly further away. He's got a nice little cushion there. Yeah, just steering it underneath those first two darts to good effect. And Van Dijvenbode gets the break that he needs. He's still got a bit more to do, but that is a step in the right direction for him.
But Wessel has also faded a little.
140.
Yeah, still averaging over 102, but it's, yeah, Dirk Van Dijvenbode with the healthier front line average so far. And that has really upturned, hasn't it? Noticeably so as well. He's getting himself into position a lot quicker than he was. And look at this, another example, down to a potential 13-darter incoming on double 18 again.
80.
That will not do Wessel any favours whatsoever.
36.
13-darter on the back of a 15-darter. Well, the whistles haven't derailed him too much just yet. 140 and a 100 against that backdrop of whistling for Nyman to contend with. What a visit from Dirk Van Dijvenbode. The crowd drew its breath after that second dart, and he duly delivered with the third once again. Nyman, though, looking at 164, still looking at 164, and still looking at 164 for a passage into the quarterfinals.
119.
Missed match start, Dan.
Will Nyman come back? He might not. Double five for Dirk Van Dijvenbode. Oh, Dirk Van Dijvenbode. What a comeback it would have been. But he's probably missed his chance.
It has been a recurring theme this weekend. Players advancing, having survived match starts, and it could well happen again here. It will happen again here either way. Nyman looking at double 16. Which way is it going to go? Is it going to be another European Tour quarter-final for Wessel? No, it's not.
10.
What's the plan, Dirk? Straight at it or split? He's had his fortune. Single three. For double one. And he does not take his chance. 4-1 down, battles back, gets the bit of luck he needs, and still Dirk Van Dijvenbode cannot book his place in the last eight.
Thank you.
Well, two players who have produced some marvellous finishing over the course of this weekend so far, and how ironic it is that we are in this nervy finale to what has been an astonishing match, and it is Wessel Nyman who books his place in the quarter-finals. A sarcastic whistle back to the crowd as well for good measure, but having made the last eight in Riesa earlier this year, he's made the last eight once again, and this time he's done it on home soil, and this time he's done it in his first ever appearance at the Dutch Darts Championship. The dream is over once again for Van Dijvenbode on the European Tour, but for Wessel Nyman, what a victory that is. So much to admire about his guts and his persistence. Van Dijvenbode has certainly played his part with some special moments this weekend, but it's Nyman who advances 6-5. Rattling a 180 there for good measure to get down to a finish of 167 on the Schindler throw.
95. Nico 167.
He looks sharp. And I mean really sharp.
439.
This is a brilliant start from Nico.
64.
Yeah, he's forcing Schindler to take out these big shots, and he may well take out this big shot. Martin Schindler. Oh, Well, that is just one of the reasons why, not the only reason, but one of the many reasons why Martin Schindler is the top dog on the European Tour.
Now, that's where Schindler won the tournament and got to the Worlds. He beat Springer in the quarters by 9 legs to 1. He bashed him up, but this is just where Springer was starting. Schindler would then beat Max Hopp 10-9 and Florian Hempel 11-10 in dramatic circumstances.
Gosh, now you say that, I commentated on the final, and I'm pretty sure, now you mentioned that, I think I commentated on that quarter-final. I commentated on that particular series, which was effectively a qualifier for the World Champs. But here we go, Springer 170. Is there nothing he can do? My goodness me, 12 darter, 170 checkout. Tick that one off your bingo card as well.
The creativity this weekend has been elite. Just like the darts of Springer, who's averaging 102 and 56% on doubles.
180.
Well, that bathroom break might have to wait because Schindler's got himself in position on 45.
430.
But Springer again, just in case there are more mistakes from Martin Schindler, on double 16 again. And there might be more mistakes on double 16. My goodness.
Good brinksmanship there from Martin. He knows if he misses that double 16, he's risking defeat. This is going to be big.
140.
He's disappointed with a 140, and I don't blame him.
Yeah, stuck to his guns there. Of course, a flat sum would have left a bogey number, so had to be aggressive.
That's match point. 418s and another bullseye will put him into the quarterfinals of a European Tour event for the first time.
90, sir.
And he's not there yet.
112.
It was all set up perfectly with the first 2 darts. He couldn't find the bullseye with the third. Schindler running out of ideas, running out of time, and running out of darts as well. Nico Springer, double 8 in the main, has been kind. He's looking at double 8 again for the match, and a passage into the quarterfinals for the first time in his career on the European Tour. And Nico Springer continues to deliver, already taking care of business against the European Championship finalist Jermaine Wattermainer, already beating the world number 4 Stephen Bunting, and now he's just beaten Germany's number 1 Martin Schindler. And Nico Springer, the quarterfinals beckon for the young pretender from Mainz.
But if it isn't Humphreys, there are some enormous things that could happen as knock-on effects. Ricardo Petresco is clinging on to his spot for the World Match Play. He's in the last spot. He wins this game, he'll go above Ryan Joyce. But win the title, he's going to Blackpool again.
130.
He knows all about the spoils of winning one of these. He wants those spoils again. That's a bit of an accident. That would have been a very unusual 1-2-1 had he found 57 in bull.
2 double 18s. There's the first. And there's the second. That is a great dart from Daryl Gurney.
At the minute, he's trying to build something. He's trying to build a product that will get him back into the top 16 in the world.
140.
And he needs to get that scoring back. He needs to figure out why it's not as good as a few years ago, because technically he looks exactly the same.
140.
Well, this just continues to go along as being the friendliest game of darts you ever did see. Not only is it holds of throw every leg, we've not even seen anybody have a dart to break yet. Just you hold, I hold, you hold, I hold.
Things can change on a 160 plus checkout. We had 2 of them in the previous game. Interesting play. That's a great last dart. Seriously impressive from the angle. And here we go again. Another hole to throw.
But Ricardo Petresco, time is running out for him to get the break of throw. He's going to need if he's going to win this game.
100.
And we know that Daryl's got that quality of being able to deflect anyone when they're playing well.
What
What a 180 that is from Ricardo.
124.
But is it just a smidgen too late?
It force him to go for the 14s? It does. Now the bull. Well, that's interesting. Ricardo Petresco's 180 got him down to one of the biggest finishes in the game. It's forced Daryl Gurney to go that route. He could have been going off to the 16s and setting up that, well, whatever route he chose. And he will come back, but he's got a decision to make about whether he goes straight at this double 17 or burns a dart.
I think the biggest thing about hitting the 16 is that he can't leave double 18.
Shot 7 leg, Daryl. 8 leg, Ricardo to throw first. Game.
Two treble visit gets him to a makeable finish. What about all three? Oh, it's a shocker of a dart. And there's a rescue act, but he's still a long way away. Another 19 points would have been really handy.
Ricardo knows that he's playing very well in this game. And when you're playing this well, the victory is something you need. It's not something you want, it's something you need.
It's only the single 18. The 140 won't go. You can go to the bullseye second dart. Yeah, leave single to double. This is a massive shot. Treble 18.
Think, Daryl. Think. He's going for 60.
Stubborn. It's a hard shot. Look, he's pulled off those shots in this game, but there's an open bed right there.
88.
Could have gone 42 ball.
56.
Ricardo Petresco's first chance to throw at doubles to break Daryl Gurney and lead this game for the first time. That's okay, double 4. Pikachu takes his chance when Gurney couldn't in the previous leg.
You can barely separate them with the numbers. Half a point between them. We're now at the point in this game where Daryl is trying to survive. Such a solid display from him.
From the pair of them, to be honest. And it's literally coming down to 2 visits with darts at double. 1 missed by Gurney. And Pikachu taking his opportunity.
Earlier in the day, we were talking about the range of legs won being 8 for someone. Here, for Pikachu, it's a range of 3. 16 to 13. And his number after this is going to be pretty low.
95.
Gurney might need to find this to stay in the tournament.
What a shot this would be. Oh my days, that's such an effort.
Ricardo, you require 66.
Pikachu has been so good at getting the job done in 5 visits to the board. Can he do it again? If he does, he's in the quarters. Ricardo Petresco has missed a couple of match darts.
The shot at 6s was close, the one at 3s wasn't. And maybe Daryl going so close on the 164 has changed how Ricardo was thinking pre-shot. Oh, that's fabulous. Composure in abundance from Super Chin.
I'm not sure any game has deserved to go to a deciding leg more than this.
Control of the game now lies with Daryl. Every game he's played in this tournament has been hard work. That big 5 makes the next shot a little more difficult than he wanted.
Yeah, can Ricardo make it difficult for him? He's made it difficult for him all game. You expect him to make it difficult. Oh, what a time for a max.
What a time from Max. It all hangs in the balance once again. Double 11. Oh no.
They have both split an odd double to win the match. And Ricardo can steal it with a break of throw at the death.
To clear 241 points and 2 visits to the board when it looked like the game was lost. It's in the 17. What double does he want? Double 16 to win. He survived a match start. He's already spurned 2 in the previous leg. Nerves.
Joy! Ricardo Petresco wins a thriller. Neck and neck from start to finish. Daryl Gurney looked like he'd done enough, and then 2 brilliant visits from Ricardo Petresco right at the death has stolen the victory away. 8 consecutive holds of throw, and then 3 consecutive breaks, and Pikachu sets up an all-German quarter-final with Nico Springer tonight.